What's up, y'all? Tsokoti here. Just doing another video. Want to do a rundown of the drums for my upcoming song Blackberry Sky, coming out on June 16th. Mark your calendars if you want. You don't have to, but you'd be a lot cooler if you did. Nah. So, yeah. I want to try to make this video kind of quick, not too crazy, but yeah. So without further ado, let me solo these drums. Here's the drop. Here's one of the breakdowns. And that's pretty much it, man. That's pretty much the whole song. I mean, this is the drums, at least ain't really complicated. Yeah. So let me go over the instruments. This percussion one, is just a hi-hat. You can see that I really got it clamped down here on the EQ. Yep. And you'll notice the saturator here on the bottom left. If you go through every one of these tracks, you'll see that I got a saturator on each track, even the crashes. But also, here's my kick and sub, and the kick, sub, and the snare. Yep. So I'll do the kick and sub and snare after the rest of these drum tracks. But yeah, so you'll see that I got that saturator on there, and I do that because it basically mimics the compression of a track, and it's another way of just getting each individual track to, push it as hard as you can in loudness, but it still retain that clarity. And at the end of it all, you have a very loud track, but it still retains that quality and that clarity. And so I do that with almost every single instrument, in every single song, including the percussion and hi-hats, everything. So yeah, that's why I did that. And I jammed the EQ down on this one because I find that in general I do that a lot with hi-hats. Hi-hats tend to be very harsh, straight out. So it's always a good idea. Take out all that low end, come down on the highs a little bit, or find a frequency that you find harsh, especially. Um, Also, you'll see I didn't use more than one EQ on these drums. Um, Sometimes I use more than one EQ, sometimes I don't. Just depends, But yeah, see, saturator on the clap. And so here's one of the other perks. And I duplicated that sound and lowered it by an octave and gave me this. And if I hadn't duplicated that original sound, it would have just sounded thin, and not very present in the mix. So that's why I did that. I got another closed hi-hat down here. Yeah, and you see I took out all the low end, and I didn't come down as harshly on the high end as I did the other hi-hat, but yeah, sounded good. So, and clap, I had the original clap just by itself, right, and the drop, but I duplicated that and I dropped it down an octave, and it sounds so much better. Right? Yeah. Um, and then if I hadn't duplicated, it's the same with that other percussive instrument. It would have just sounded thin and not very present. Um, so yeah, don't be afraid to duplicate them tracks. Uh, if you see on the EQ, I didn't even really do a lot. I took out that low, the much of them low, so it wouldn't interfere, with the kick and bass and whatnot. Came down on the mids a little bit, and I just duplicated it. It was simple, you know, not much difference. Got a crash here, nothing much going on. Took out all the low end. I always take out all the low end on hi hats, crashes, anything that doesn't have any low end anyway. I take it out. Same thing on the crash. Used a shelve on this one. No particular reason, just to experiment. I do that a lot. I experiment with different, EQ, settings and frequencies and what I take out and what I add maybe. Um, yeah, so, and I thought it sounded good like this. And maybe probably more natural. So that's that's the drums, and here's the kick and snare. Kick and snare, I got it as a group. Got the saturator, 16, 16. Kick and sub is a group, and I got that turned down the by a little bit over -3. Got the bass monoed, bass frequencies, 120. And here's how I EQ my kick. Took out all the highs. Took out some of the low, the extreme lows. Came up a little bit on that mid high to make it stand out just a little bit. And my sub is very low. Almost to where you can barely even hear it. And that's what I use subs for, to complement the kicks. The sub isn't really meant to be heard, at least that's the way I use it. But it's more like meant to be felt. You want it to complement your kick sample or track. You don't want it to be what stands out, and it's just gonna help your kicks and your track in general just bump, much better. I can't remember where I picked up that tip, to be honest. Um, if I could remember, I would say, but yeah. Um, and here's the snare. Got EQ. See, this is where I did some subtractive EQ here. Took out some frequencies that I really didn't like, that I felt were causing some issues. And the way to do that is you take a frequency and you turn up the Q, and you just crank it up, and you sweep the EQ, and you find a frequency that turns up your overall volume, and maybe a couple dB, 1 2 dB maybe, and you just turn it down, bringing that frequency down. So that's how I go about it. And that's my drum track. So yeah, hope you enjoy the song. Let's hear the whole thing. See, let me solo these drums. I'll solo the kick and snare group. Dope. All right, June 16th, Blackberry Sky. It's going to be dope. Video is going to be awesome. Check it out. Thanks for watching. Say hi. See ya.